You know that feeling when your home just doesn't look as good as it should, but tackling a painting project feels like a headache? Between the mess, the time, and the worrying about the results, it's easy to put it off. That's why homeowners trust Hyler Painting. Their proven 7-step process keeps everything clean, organized, and stress-free. And it's backed by a 5-year warranty. Their mission is simple: to create raving fans. Get your free estimate today at hylerpainting.com. Everything feels more expensive right now, but one of Philly's best resources is still completely free. With a free library of Philadelphia card, you get access to thousands of programs, events, and digital resources for all ages, including ebooks, audiobooks, learning languages, genealogy, and news. Don't worry, they don't have those fees if you return your materials late. Sign up today, freelibrary.org/card, and see what's waiting for you. It's the Friday News Roundup. We're talking about the no-show at the Congressional debate, the strange origin of some tables at our restaurants. Also, can Passyunk Avenue be totally car-free? And for our extra segment, only for our CityCast Philly neighbors, some of the best places to get tacos and free margaritas. It's Friday, May 1st. I'm Trenae, and here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me this week is CityCast Philly executive producer Matt Katz. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Trenae, did you say free margaritas?
Free margaritas.
All right.
I've been trying to gatekeep this for the longest, but I think it's time for me to share.
All right. Looking forward to talking about that later.
We are about less than 3 weeks away from this big Democratic primary for Congress. Whoever wins the primary will essentially win the seat since there's no Republican candidates. And this person will represent half of the city in Congress, so it's a pretty big deal. The most high-profile event of the campaign took place on Wednesday at WHYY with Cherry Gregg and Avi Wolfman-Arent, our friends over at Studio 2. They moderated this debate. But the big story that came out of it wasn't what happened on stage. It was who was not on the stage.
That's right. This is what led off the debate, the fact that the third frontrunner in this race, there's basically 3 frontrunners, the third frontrunner was a no-show. After months of negotiations over the debate format and an agreement that they apparently had, just 2 hours before the debate, WHYY said they heard from the campaign of one of the frontrunners, Dr. Ayla Stanford, that she was not going to show up. Stanford's campaign said that they could not come to terms with WHYY on a debate format, which was news to WHYY.
Right, because they disputed that.
Yeah. And secondly, her campaign said she didn't want to be there because she had been marred by, quote, misogynistic attacks and lies from both of her opponents, which is something that both of her opponents, the 2 other frontrunners, State Rep Chris Rabb and State Senator Sharif Street, they both disputed that. And from what we've seen, we haven't seen anything in a flyer or an advertising that was directly appeared to be misogynistic, and she didn't give any specifics, but that was what she alleged. And
like I said, WHYY, they said that they disputed Stanford's characterization of the incident. So yeah, it was that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Recent weeks, there's been some issues with her campaign that have been raised in the press. You know, there was the campaign operative who used the AI to answer a questionnaire, but then forgot to take off the bit that said that AI had prepared the answers to the questionnaire, and the answers were about her policy views. So, you know, that got a bit of attention. There was also a big story in the Inquirer this week that said that her Black Doctors Consortium, this is the group that became really well known in the city after COVID because they were vaccinating thousands of Philadelphians who otherwise would not have been able to get vaccinations, and she's become pretty prominent in the medical space in the city. But apparently her group, the Black Doctors Consortium, filed incomplete tax returns to the IRS, failed to properly report about $1 million in compensation that Stanford had received over 4 years. But again, that didn't come up in the debate because she wasn't there.
She did, however, have an opportunity to defend herself in an interview with Andrea Lawful Sanders, in which Dr. Stanford calls that a clerical error and said that those documents have been amended. It had been corrected. And so you're right, that did not come up during the debate this week because she was not there.
Did you hear anything in the debate without her? Because then it was just the two guys. Did you hear anything that stood out to you? Did you hear any policy differences? What was interesting to you?
Not really. I think what kept coming up is this idea of, can these candidates work across the aisle in a bipartisan way?
Yeah. And they both claim to, but Rab is definitely coming from the more progressive perspective. He's saying the Democratic Party has not taken into account progressive left viewpoints enough. Sharif Street, the son of former Mayor John Street, used to run the party in Pennsylvania. He's definitely like the more establishment Democrat.
Endorsed by Mayor Parker and several labor unions in the city. Yeah, I mean, they had this one format in the debate where they kind of put up yes or no cards to various issues. They talked about healthcare. How did the candidates feel? Should they abolish ICE? Impeaching the president, a federal moratorium on data centers in order to protect communities. They even asked about an overhaul of the Supreme Court. And they pretty much all agreed. They both agreed to those different various topics. I don't know. I kind of kept thinking, what did I learn from this? Because I actually went to the Philadelphia Citizens Candidate Forum, or that the event where it was like interviewing the candidates, just to kind of get to know them a little bit better.
Sure.
For my own understanding. And and they've had about 40 different forums during this campaign that they've, shown up to and participated in. And I didn't kind of like learn anything surprising.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think if you are a left voter, if you identify as, more liberal than anybody then like Rab is trying to get your vote. He was endorsed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. He is saying that the Democratic Party is not being aggressive enough and not pursuing enough progressive policies. And Street's saying, listen, I know how to get things done. I can also fight the president. I've sued Trump. He kept talking about that. But I know how to work across the aisle, and I know how to work within the system. The biggest issue of the race, though, it continues to be the Israel-Gaza conflict. We talked about this in Monday's episode with Anna Orso from The Inquirer. And again, in this WHYY debate, that was the only area where you saw some real daylight between these candidates. Rab has been insisting that what happened in Gaza is genocide, and that the role of pro-Israel group AIPAC in congressional campaigns is majorly problematic. Now, Rab and Street were sort of on the same page on this issue. Street said that Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel has committed war crimes. Street says he endorsed a two-state solution. But Rab insists that what's happening, or what has happened with Israel's operations, military operations in Gaza, is genocide, and that you have to call it genocide. And the other candidates in the race are not saying that word. And Rab is made this a big part of his platform, that the Democrats should be calling it genocide and fighting against any sort of U.S. support for Israel and its military.
I do want to interject because Dr. Stanford actually did say the word genocide in an interview with NBC's Lauren Make earlier this week. She said, quote, "I have no problem saying the word genocide." And she continues to explain that the word is used to incite emotion, less than solutions to save lives and get to solutions to the conflict.
This issue does galvanize part of the left flank of the party, and we'll see if that happens. And it's unclear also if whether Stanford not showing up for this debate mattered, because I've seen plenty of mailers from these three frontrunners, but the only video ads I've seen, like on my streaming services, are from Stanford. So she's really out there actually more visibly than the other two candidates.
I don't know about that because I was on Fox Street. I was at the ShopRite on Fox Street.
Right.
And I saw like a van that had Senator Street's face next to Governor Josh Shapiro.
Oh, interesting.
And then also like text messages are coming through. So maybe you see that on your social platforms,
Right.
but I'm seeing a van driving around.
And I've seen posters for Street. Yeah, I mean, he's got the Democratic Party. He's got the unions. So I feel like we're going to see on the street, we're going to see a lot of the street stuff, so to speak.
That's funny.
And on the, on the social media,
You see Rab.
maybe you see more Rab. And then Stanford's got commercials. So it's anybody's race.
I wonder
it's
if there's
really
correlation to like demographics in that way, right?
Sure.
Maybe like older voters are watching TV,
Right.
Younger voters are on social media, on the internet,
Yeah.
and maybe there's another demographic, on literally, like you said, on the streets.
Right. Great idea to show up at a supermarket. You get a lot of foot traffic and they're locals.
I remember back in the day, people used to like have blowhorns and like blast like vote today out of the cars.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I feel like that happens on election day.
yeah, that happens on election day. But you got to make sure that you're registered. And the last day to register for the primary is May 4th. So make sure you get that done.
Yeah, and make sure you're in the 3rd Congressional District, which represents about half the city.
Well, you can't do anything about that in the next couple of days.
That's true. You can't move, but you can, make sure that this is the race that you'll be voting in if you are a registered Democrat come May 19th.
We've got more news after the break.
All right, I hope you're not eating anything out there.
If you are, chew real fast and swallow it.
Set it aside because we learned that at some Philadelphia restaurants, when you're eating at the bar or you're taking your food off the counter or you're eating at a table, you may actually be eating off the floor of the Please Touch Museum.
Oh my God.
Here's the lead off a story we read this week on WHYY. Customers at the Bread Room, the new Center City Cafe led by James Beard award-winning restaurateur Ellen Yin, may not realize that when they are ordering a mushroom leek quiche at the counter, they are eating off of history. That's because the countertops of the rustic bakery are made from the marble slabs laid down in 1876 as the floor of Memorial Hall in Fairmount Park, which then became the Please Touch Museum. So the floor of the Please Touch Museum, which was originally built for the 100th birthday of the United States in 1876, it's been like breaking down, right? 70,000 square feet of marble flooring, which actually was quarried in Montgomery County in the 19th century. It started to break down and started to crumble. So 18,000 of the 70,000 square feet had to be replaced and restored with marble from Europe. So now the old marble that they had to take out ended up in like a salvage store.
Okay.
And then it's been discovered by our restaurants and bars, and it's going to be used for the new bar at the Bellevue Hotel.
Wow.
It's going to be used for the redesigned Camp Bar. I already mentioned it's at the Bread Room. It could be anywhere, Trenae, this floor.
This is insane. Like, okay, initially I'm like, please don't tell me this, right? Like, I'm eating off the floor. Yuck. But I'm sure, obviously, it's cleaned.
I'm sure they cleaned it.
They've,
buffed it?
Buffed, yeah, they
no
buffed
doubt.
it. I don't want to know how the sausage is made. Like, just don't tell me something like that. However, I just want to say this. I am a recycler. I'm a thrifter. And
Yeah.
I've also been a dumpster diver.
What do you mean you like actually dove for?
No,
Okay.
I'm maybe more of a curbside picker-upper. All right, so during the pandemic, everyone was scattering. Everyone was going back to their parents' homes and things like that. People were leaving furniture and all sorts of stuff. Well, I lived in an apartment, and one of the maintenance workers, I told her, I'm like, yeah, I just moved into this place. And like, I need like furniture and stuff. And she's like, oh, I've got there's tons of stuff. And she helped me like I got a Christmas tree, like a full-blown, already lit Christmas tree.
From an actual, like, garbage dumpster?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I know. Because people were scattered. People were scared.
Totally.
So they're just leaving stuff.
Oh, wow.
I got a dresser. I got a dining room table.
That's amazing.
I did get a brand new couch. That's one thing I'm not doing. So for a countertop, yeah, you can thrift it, but don't tell me it was on the floor.
Right.
Don't tell me
you don't
that.
want to know about
Don't tell me that.
I mean, we love the Police Touch Museum.
Yes, absolutely.
Got wonderful memories chasing my kids around there when they were little.
Yes.
But, you know, this is not like the floor of a lobby of an office building on Market Street where it's, you know, pristine. I mean, think about what this floor has experienced with sticky toddlers. I mean, there's baby saliva on that marble.
All right.
Baby boogers.
That's why you said, that's why you said put the food down.
I mean, imagine the amount of boogers that have been wiped on that floor through the years. I'm just saying, I'm trying to report the news here, Trenae.
They buffed the boogers out.
And now you're eating $20 sandwiches off of it.
Gosh.
That building is magnificent.
I love it.
It's really spectacular.
What's your favorite part about the Police Touch Museum?
I like the SEPTA bus.
I was going to say that too. I like the SEPTA bus, but I also like the grocery,
the
grocery store. Yeah.
By the way, there is a new exhibit opening this fall at the Police Touch Museum, so you can check out their newly refurbished marble entrance. It's called Character Quest, Building Character Skills Through Play, which cost $2.5 million to create. It's going to have a 20-foot climbing structure to test children's strength of heart, mind, and will.
Oh.
And that opens in the fall.
All right, we'll be back after this break.
Yes.
I have to take a deep breath because when we talk about walkability, pedestrians, cyclists, cars, it is such a contentious issue.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we read a story from a local writer. I don't know their name. Their name is Make Driving Suck Less
it's
on
a
Substack.
Yeah.
They wrote arguing that Passyunk Avenue, Passyunk, what do you say?
Passyunk?
Okay, there's no SH in there, but Passyunk.
This is a long-standing debate. The old-timers say it's Passyunk, but
Anyway, this corridor should be car-free. They write, try to walk down Passyunk Avenue on a Friday night. You'll spend half the time stepping off the curb to get around people waiting for tables, then dodging delivery drivers double parked with their hazards on, like that makes it legal, and flattening yourself against a building so an SUV can squeeze through a street that was never, ever built for it.
That's a little dramatic, but I will say...
It's very dramatic.
They're making a point that Passyunk is one of our most wonderful, walkable corridors, tons of small businesses and restaurants. And when it's alive with pedestrians, it's a pain in the butt that there's cars everywhere. And it would be more pleasant if the cars were to disappear. Listen, let's make streets all over the city car free. I'm into this. Why not?
I am not.
I know you're not. I mean, I will just say, let me.
I'll hear you
boost
first.
the case.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
You know, the life in a pedestrian only area is so wonderful. It feels like a utopia. They did this in Midtown Manhattan. They took a stretch by Times Square and they made it pedestrian only. We can clearly do it in Philly. I mean, Sansom Street, this tiny street in Center City, could be pedestrian only. Why should there be two parallel streets going in the same direction? Walnut Street is right there. Let that have the cars and make Sansom Street pedestrian only.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The writer says that there could be concrete bollards at every other intersection along the Passyunk Avenue stretch, and there would still be emergency access for police and fire, the writer says. There could be early morning commercial access for trucks and suppliers. Mm-hmm. And then they write, the street, quote, belongs to the people. I'm going to read one other quote. Passyunk cuts across the grid at an angle, which means it creates these gorgeous triangular intersections and oddly shaped plazas that don't really work as intersections at all. They work as gathering spaces. They work as places to put a bench, a tree, a guy selling water ice out of a cart. But what they don't work as is places to route car traffic. The geometry is literally fighting us on this, and the geometry is right. What say you, Trenae?
What say I? Listen, I agree. The diagonal streets of Passyunk Ave could be better to walk around. I've gone and enjoyed festivals, restaurants, browsing the exotic pet shop, a plant shop, late night cookie speakeasy, and tacos at like 1 a.m. The question that no one ever answers, where the heck do you put hundreds of cars? Where do you tell tourists to park? Where do you tell the coach buses to pull over at? The solution isn't to just keep making drivers the enemy here. Also, I feel like this is also coded because I don't live in this neighborhood, but I want to enjoy this neighborhood.
Yeah.
I want to see my friend from high school play his marimba in that triangular singing fountain park. Mm-hmm. I want to go experience that. How do I get there quickly, effectively? I need my car. Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah.
I don't live close to the Broad Street line.
Right.
What I'm saying is it feels like the only people that can enjoy those amenities, the amenity of a car-free zone would be people that live in that community.
It's totally, yes.
And I don't like that.
Although they might not like it.
I'm for, like, we live in a world where we can explore, like, other neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And economically, you're going to need other people to explore to keep your businesses thriving.
Yeah. I asked a friend of mine who lives on the corridor in an apartment building, and he said he actually has come to appreciate the vehicular traffic. He said there's an aspect of cruising the avenue in cars and motorcycles that he's come to appreciate over the years. So he's not necessarily for this, even though he lives there. He does say it should be up to the residents and commercial owners on and near the avenue to decide, whether they would do anything like this.
Are you suggesting to me that the future of our city will take us back to pre-industrial revolution?
I mean, I think that's what a lot of people want. In fact,
so I'm supposed to pull up in a horse and buggy.
Yeah. And then if it's evening, you can light a candle to lead your way to the nearest tavern.
No, the future of the city would involve including everyone.
That's true.
Not excluding anyone. Street calming measures, create bike lanes.
Mm-hmm. What about a little bit? Close off a few areas. Would you be open to that?
The density of our city it
doesn't allow for that.
It doesn't allow for that for like a permanent solution like that.
Our readers are on board with this idea. Siani put in our newsletter this week. She asked our readers if they agree with what this writer was arguing, and 86% are in favor. But if you disagree, or if you agree with Trenae that, that's crazy and where are we going to put the cars, and I live in, let's say Manayunk, and I want to come down to Passyunk sometimes and go to Barcelona, then let us know. Philly@citycast.fm or leave a comment. Yeah.
I just don't know. I understand, okay? Uh-huh. I understand. I want to walk around. I enjoy open streets on Walnut Avenue.
So, like, occasionally you're down with having the pedestrian-only area.
Yes, but where can I put my car? I have family in the region that I need to see.
Yeah.
I need my car.
Yeah.
I'm transporting kids all over the gosh darn place for every season sports game. I need a car. I've been like mixing it up, getting like groceries delivered, but then you're gonna get mad at the delivery guy for parking.
I feel like Pat's and Gino's would never let this happen too, because they really rely on people rolling up in the car. I sort of like the game of trying to find a spot by Pat's and Gino's if you're like driving.
Oh, it's really hard.
It's really hard, but then when you get one, ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I love that it's so controversial that the writer is totally anonymous. They don't want anybody coming from. We put a link to the article from Substack, Make Driving Suck Less, in our show notes.
Yes, I agree. I do agree. Make driving suck less.
The writer says they own a car, so they're not necessarily like a militant anti-car person. Just throwing that out there.
Yes, yeah. Where do they put their car?
That's a good question. They probably have a garage.
Yeah, right. Lucky. Okay, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, today's May 1st. And if you have not begun to make your summer plans, now is the time to, figure out how and when and where you're going down the Jersey Shore.
Yes, summer plans, because are you going to stay in the city or are you going down to the shore? Because it's so much stuff happening in the city. Like, I don't know if you want to miss out on these festivities.
Yeah, right. So I think this is the weekend where people have to look at their calendars, see what the prices are down the shore, see if they're going to stay and go to some of these 250th anniversary celebrations that we're going to be having in the city, or if they're going to, hit the boardwalk in Wildwood. What else are you doing this weekend?
I and so will the team. We're going to be at the Broad Street Run. We are passing out water to the runners and cheering them on, keeping y'all hydrated. We're going to be at Broad and Spruce Street, Kimmel Center, bright and early.
That's awesome. Yeah, come by. If you're running, grab a cup of water. And once the race is over, the team's going to help clean up the trash. And we have our CityCast Philly neighbors are joining us. This is one of the events we do. We do things with our neighbors like they can come and see, Chef Mark Vetri speak and do a cooking demonstration. We also do volunteer opportunities. So we do an event every few months. So consider becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor and joining us at these things.
And we're getting that cool T-shirt. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Did you see? Do you want to preview the T-shirt? We have it right here. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, that's cool. It's got that old school fonts. And it's a nice baby blue.
Broad Street Run.
Oh, very cool.
Broad Street Run. And it says 2026. It's giving like the 250 American vibe to it. So you get one of those. And yeah, we've come to the part of the show where I can't gatekeep anymore my secrets to where you can get free margaritas.
Next week is Cinco de Mayo, which of course celebrates Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. But in Philadelphia in 2026, it is a time to celebrate Mexican culture and Mexican food in our city and our thriving Mexican food scene. Mm-hmm. And you, Trenae, have a hack for getting Mexican food and drink that you wanted to share with only a limited number of people.
Yeah, because this is really good. This is really good.
Okay, here we go.
But if you want to know, if you want to get in on these secrets, consider becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor right now. Head over to membership.citycast.fm/Philly. All right. Thanks, Matt, for this conversation this week.
Thanks, Trenae. And one more thing before we go, popping in to say that late on Thursday, the school board voted 6-3 to approve its controversial facilities plan that will close 17 schools, modernize more than 160 others. It costs some $3 billion, and we will have plenty more on this, including an interview with the school board president next week. So stay tuned.
That's all for us today here on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Matt Katz. Our senior producer is Abby Fritz. Our producer is Matthew Rogers. Our newsletter editor is Siani Colon. And our host is me, Trenae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed this week of episodes, share with a friend. Also rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend and be safe, y'all. Bye.